This is Arman Assadi. Welcome to Find Your Flow. Cheers. I'm recording this on a Sunday evening. It is 8:22 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right now. I've got a glass of wine here. I'm about to take my third sip. Why don't I go ahead and do that? Because I've got some juicy stuff for you today. Something a little bit different. That's good. Nothing like a good glass of red wine, you know? So I've got something a bit different for you today. We're going to be going over the 5 best online businesses that I believe are the biggest opportunities and the best places to start in 2020. I believe these are the most profitable businesses. I believe these are the businesses that are most well adjusted to the times, given the economy, given the pandemic going on and the overall nature of the world and the market from what I see. I believe that these are also potentially the easiest. There's nothing easy about ever starting a business. Let's be really, really real about that. But across the whole realm of possibilities, I believe these are the easiest to start with the lowest amount of capital. So whether you already have a business and you're looking to start another one, or you're looking for a side hustle, or you're like, this world is crazy, I need to control my destiny, which is exactly what happened to me, by the way. It was a big part of why I left my job and decided to become my own boss. So we're going to be going over these 5 things. I'm going to give you those 5 things right now up front, and then I'm just really going to unpack them in a detail. I'm excited for this because I'm literally going to give you exactly what I would do if I was to start one of these businesses in one of these industries. And I want to be upfront that I'm at the point in my life where I'm always going to maintain this humility that I don't know what I don't know, and that I'm constantly learning. And you probably already see this about me. I'm literally constantly learning, constantly absorbing, making sure my head doesn't get too big. And knowing that everything can be taken away from me at a moment's notice. However, I am at the point where I believe one of the best things about being an entrepreneur is that once you have developed a certain level of expertise and you have a certain level of experience, that is a form of security that can never be taken away from you. And that's something that I love about being an entrepreneur. Again, it was one of the big reasons I wanted to become one, is because I don't believe that the security a job gives us is actually any more secure than the roller coaster ride of entrepreneurship. In fact, I think it's less secure because we are not in control of our destiny. You've heard all this stuff, you know all this stuff. If you're even listening to this episode, it's probably because you already know that. But let's acknowledge that first and foremost, okay? With that said, I've developed some confidence around what I'm doing and what I'm talking about. I believe that if everything were taken away from me, that I could jump into one of these industries and do extremely well and generate 7 figures rather quickly. So here are the 5 industries. And I'm also going to start with 5 important truths. So the 5, not industries, but the best businesses rather. The best businesses, number 1, freelancing and consulting. Really just let's just call it freelancing. Number 2, courses. Online digital educational courses. Number 3, e-commerce and Amazon as one bucket. Whether you start the business on Shopify or Amazon, any form of physical product that you sell online. Number 4, SaaS, which is known as software as a service, any form of software that you sell online. 5, blogging, vlogging, really just content and podcasting even as well. Oh, I think that was a wine hiccup. So any form of content, really, like blogging, vlogging, YouTubing, all that stuff, and podcasts, which I do believe, while it's more marketing focused and awareness focused, it can be a business in and of itself. And I actually have a bonus one for you. I lied. There's not 5. The last one is coaching/consulting. So those are the 5. But let's begin with what I think are some very straightforward and important truths. So here's the really interesting thing about this. I was thinking about recording this episode, and then I remembered that years and years and years ago, I wrote an article on my blog. And it's still there, actually. It's the 15 best online businesses that I believe a solopreneur or even a wantrepreneur, a future solopreneur, should start. And this was at the top. So I'm just going to read this to you. Okay? And it's still true. Number 1, the only way to build a real business and eventually quit your day job, if you so choose, is with patience and perseverance. It is all about taking tiny steps each day. Number 2, there is no such thing as overnight success or getting rich quickly. I promise, no matter how amazing the opportunity looks, you are wasting your time. These aren't real businesses, and they don't provide real wealth. When they do, they're temporary and they fade quickly. Plus, the rich know that the real idea, is to build assets, not just make cash. That's a really important point. Avoid those shiny objects, believe me. Number 3, working for yourself doesn't have to be complicated. We make it that way because we get distracted and we lose focus. So how do you prevent this? Cure your procrastination for good and develop laser focus on one thing. I have an article I wrote years ago on how to cure your procrastination. Just Google Arman procrastination and it'll be right at the top. Check that out. Number 4, if you invest your time and energy into more than one area, you probably won't get anywhere. I just added the word probably. I think I wrote that a little too directly. I think it's possible to be able to make progress in multiple areas, but if you want real momentum, you got to focus on one area. You must choose only one. Dedicate yourself to it and settle for nothing less than mastery. I wholeheartedly believe that. And number 5, with a traditional venture-backed business, there is a risk of failure. If you squander your investor funding and your runway runs out, you fail. But as a solopreneur, the only way you can fail is by giving up. Straight up. So do the work. I think that's really important to talk about up front because a lot of people are looking to do this online thing for the first time ever, and it's super overwhelming, and it's so easy to get sucked into all the bullshit that somebody might be spouting right now to literally make money off of you. I don't like it. I hate it when I see that stuff, the MLM stuff, or the coaches trying to create coaches, or the people that are the meta stuff, like I will teach you to create a business stuff. There's not a lot of it out there that's actually good, that's actually real by someone who's a true business owner, a true entrepreneur. I will tell you someone who I do think you should follow in that department, but 90+% of it is just garbage. Just run when you see that stuff. Everything is available for free on YouTube, podcasts. I mean, the content is out there. In most cases, you don't need to pay for this information. Most cases. This is coming from someone who's spent way too much money, tens of thousands of dollars, maybe, I don't even know how much, maybe more than that, on courses and seminars and all that kind of stuff, okay? So you need to understand, especially, and even as an existing entrepreneur right now, you might be worried. Like that's the light version of it. Or you're freaking out. You're just straight up freaking out and your business isn't working. And so you're pivoting your business. You're thinking of selling your business. You're thinking of starting a different business. So these 5 best businesses are going to be relevant to everybody, but let's acknowledge those truths. And the most important one being, if it looks too good to be true, don't buy it. Don't believe it. Just think of the long road from day one. Like invest in the long term. Believe that you're building an asset that's going to last forever. Like Nick said, and Nick Urbani in his episode, in episode 2, he's literally positioning his vision for his business is to build a business that lasts forever. If you didn't listen to that episode, you can go back and listen to that part. It's unbelievable. Okay. Without further ado, here are the 5 businesses. Here's how I would approach them and just absolutely go in and take over and crush it. Like, here's me putting on you need to know this about me too. It's like, look, I can be really competitive. And when I go into something, I want to win, right? So I have an ego. It's strong and I want to win. And yes, I'm, on the path of also becoming a conscious being, but it's also like, you got to live in reality and be able to make ends meet. So here are the 5 businesses. Number 1, freelancing consulting. That world is so wide open, more than ever before. So if I was to start from scratch, or if I had to start over, that's where I would probably start. The reason is because the fastest path to cash in your pocket, there's the least amount of friction to getting started, and there's a ton of opportunity, and it's the least amount of overhead, the least amount of headache, and the highest profitability. When you take something that you can develop a skill at and then offer that as a service to people and make their lives easier or better, you've won. And as an entrepreneur, I can tell you, if somebody can do something slightly better than I can, and sometimes they don't even need to be able to do it better, it's just a game of leveraging the most high profit, high revenue driving activities that are also the most fun. For me, I take those and then I outsource everything else. And even if this is a business, a large business, if you do it better than someone on their team, they're going to hire you to do it. I would go directly to Upwork.com and I would literally just dive in and I would pick one niche, whether that be design, development, copywriting, any form of tech. I mean, literally, think about it. Every person, like even right now, the person listening to this episode of this podcast might be a mom, right? And she's like, I want to start an e-commerce store, but she doesn't want to do the design. She doesn't know how. She doesn't want to put the Shopify page together. She doesn't know how. You doing that for her is it's so easy. It's so obvious. It's just right there. There are tons of people like that out there. Everything from the first-time entrepreneur, the first-time business owner who needs help, to big established businesses that go on Upwork, and even my company, Project Evo. Most of the things that we hire out for, we go to Upwork. We hire either an ongoing hourly gig or a one-time project gig, and that's it. Now, that's one way to do freelancing. But first of all, pick something that you can develop expertise in, something that you already are interested in, something that you enjoy. Or if you literally are like, I don't know shit, I'm not good at anything, just pick something. Do some YouTube videos on something that you find interesting. I think that the best ones are generally like where it's slightly technical, because those are the ones that people generally outsource for and you can charge the most for. So what are those? They're design, copywriting, which I'll come back to because I have a big background in that. Any form of development, software development, programming, all that kind of stuff, or just straight up technical support. You don't even have to know what HTML is to put somebody's website together. You don't. Using WordPress and Shopify and all that stuff, you can make someone's life so much easier. So just pick a niche and double down on it. And it can literally be anything. I'm telling you, it can literally be anything. So one path is building your Upwork portfolio. I could talk about that for hours because it took me years to eventually figure this out and go and start doing freelancing and consulting and copywriting, because I got pushed into it by a friend. A friend of mine was like, Arman, why don't you try copywriting? And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't even know what that is. And fast forward now, I've been the chief strategist behind 13 different 7-figure launches where I did the copy and the architecture of the entire strategy that developed these incredible launches. So like looking back now, I mean, I'm at my first year, I think, of copywriting on Upwork, I easily cleared, it was something like over 200K, maybe like 250 in my first year. And now, like I've told you, I can charge a great fee, for any form of advising or consulting or anything like that. So look, if I was starting over, that's probably the first place I would start. It's the highest profitability. There's not a lot of overhead. In fact, there's usually none. The only overhead is like your own tools and software and things that you just need to run your business. On that note, when it comes to copywriting, there is a great company, publishing media company and magazine called Founder, Foundr without the E. That it's an incredible resource that I'll probably bring up for a few different reasons. But the main reason I bring it up right now is I did a masterclass with them. Just like the masterclasses you see on all the ads and online where all these amazing famous people teach on various subjects. I did one on copywriting. And there is a 1-hour masterclass that I did with these guys that is free, that you can watch. And it goes over my 10-step copywriting framework. So if you want to learn copywriting, I would highly recommend checking that out, whether you want to use it in your business or you want to learn copywriting in order to make money and build your freelancing business from that. Just watch it. Even if you're like, I don't know if I can write and all that stuff, I highly recommend you watch it. To get access to that, I will send you the link to the free masterclass. Just text me 619-825-2595 and just text me hashtag 7FC, 7FC, 7-figure copy. Okay. Number 2, courses, educational online courses. I'm going to give you the model for how I believe in 2020 you should approach this. It has changed and evolved so much. I worked in this industry at a time where people charged $4,000 for a course. There was a course back in the day on how to start an Amazon business by amazing.com, and it was $4,000. Yeah, I think it was like $3,000 or $4,000, and it crushed it. And there was this whole market for high level, high ticket, as we call them, courses, and it crushed it. I believe that those days are pretty much mostly over. There is still a market that still does it and buys that stuff because generally they're business opportunities. They're courses that are teaching a business opportunity. And so then the marketing is, you buy this course, it's only $2,000. You're going to make, $100,000 in your first 6 months. I guarantee it. All that kind of shit. Okay. You can take, but here's really the point. You can take something that you love, that you have expertise in, record a course, and have an asset that sells forever. I still make money off a course that I sold 8 years ago. I mean, that's insane. It's truly an asset. And the ways in which you can continue to market it and sell it are just endless. But you just record it one time, make it, decent quality. Good sound is the most important thing. Decent quality. And you have something that you can have for years. The life cycle of a course is much, much longer than the typical business, and it's an asset. So that's one important thing about courses. The second is that all the tools exist for you to be able to easily not just create the course. Again, you can go to YouTube. You can go to Udemy as well. If you're going to pay for courses, Udemy and Lynda, which was bought by LinkedIn, are great resources. There's so many of these sites that have courses, but they're more low ticket now. You can get a course for like $20, $30, $50. And I think that's where the market is going. But if you want to learn how to do the course thing, you can take a course, but there's probably a lot of free content as well. And you can use one of these teaching platforms that build the website for you and handle everything, like Teachable. I haven't used Teachable personally, like to build my own course, but I've looked at it 1,000 times. I know so many people that use it and they all, say great things. It makes it super easy. And then people buy it, they get their login, their membership, they log in, they see everything, right? But here's how I would actually build the business components. I would make the course low ticket. First of all, I would create content, free content, the best stuff you absolutely have, give it away on social media, create videos that teach what you're already going to be teaching in the course, and then have the course expand on that further and go deeper into the advanced stuff, right? Have people buy the course for a low ticket dollar amount, like anywhere from, like these days, probably the sweet spot is going to be like $20 to $300. $20 to $300. And probably the super sweet spot is like $20 to $100. Because, you can get unlimited membership to Masterclass for like $80. I might be wrong about the exact price, but it's something like that, right? So if you can get world-class experts doing this unbelievable level production course, how can we charge more than them, right? So you can't. It's hard. It's becoming really hard. So what I recommend is, well, what Masterclass doesn't do, they don't think like an entrepreneur or a marketer does. So what I would do is do the low-ticket course and then lead that to a subscription offer that automatically perhaps gets added to their order when they buy. And that subscription can be, $10 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month, whatever it is. And that gives access to additional content that is live. Like it's not this like old evergreen content like the course. It's like, this is what's going on this month. Like, here's my tips for this month, or here's what to do in the pandemic. It's current event content that goes deeper into the course, and they only get access to that, which is going to be in their members area next to the course, if they pay that subscription fee. That's one way to do subscription. You could do subscription 1,000 ways. All you've got to do is give value. That's it. Just give value in a consistent way and make sure that you're delivering every single month. It could be, literally could be everything. It could be like weekly Zoom meetings with you, anything. And then on top of that, to really, really, really expand your profitability, which is where the real money comes in, is on the high ticket stuff. So provide some sort of high-end, high-ticket access to you. This is, what we call like the profit maximizer. This is the thing that's going to be hundreds of dollars, maybe even $1,000, right? And that's what's going to drive most of your revenue, actually, because it's like a funnel. You get people watch the content, they watch the content, they buy the course, then they do the subscription, and then they love you and they learn from you, and then they're like, I want more from this person. So then they want to do your private coaching group or your whatever it is that you're giving, that you're selling at a premium. And that's how you make your money. That's how you really take a course. And I think access to you is the thing that people want most likely, that you can also charge the most for. So that might be a good idea, like the weekly Zoom meetings or FaceTime or whatever, live, Facebook Live, Instagram Live type stuff for a private group that pays for it. Or it's coaching, or it's, just like straight up one-on-one coaching. Like maybe that many people won't actually take it, but that's where your profit comes in. So that's how I would currently design a course. Another thing you can do is market it with a webinar, right? So again, each of these 5 things we could talk about for hours. If you have questions, I'm just going to say, just text me, if we want to talk about it more, I'm happy to help. But a webinar is a great way to sell many of these, actually, these business ideas. But I think it's a great entry point into a course. And this is what I did with Neil Patel, who will be on the podcast. I don't know if this is before or after that, but we did that. We did that together, where we had an automated live feeling webinar that led to the course. So a lot of ways you can do this. Number 3, e-commerce. And by the way, I don't think I said this, but I have myself personally in most of these, in all 5 of these, I have personal experience in them and or have generated 7 figures for myself or a client. So I really, really am passionate about these 5 ideas and these 5 businesses, as you can tell. And I really think they're timely right now. So number 3, e-commerce and Amazon. These 2 are so big that they almost deserve to be their own separate thing, but I just wanted to keep it to 5. E-commerce, here's the strategy. First, people first go like, what's my product? Your product, you've got to come up with that. You got to sit down, you got to research the market. If we're talking about not Amazon, let's discuss everything but Amazon first, because I think Amazon is its own beast, really. If you're going to create a physical product, I believe there's a lot of ways to do it. If you want to do it in the most legit way, like this is really a business you're looking to build, you want to control your supply chain and maybe eventually sell this company and or just hold on to it and just really have it be super legit. You're going to want a sourcing partner especially if you're looking to manufacture outside the US. If you're going to manufacture in the US or in your local country, wherever you are, it's probably easier to manage that relationship directly with your supplier, with your manufacturer. Okay. So when I first started the Evo Planner, Project Evo, we were manufacturing in China. Now we're manufacturing in the US. I had a sourcing partner. That's the first thing you need to do. They're very easy to find. Find one, spark up a relationship, tell them what you're going to do, be able to commit to a certain minimum order quantity, and they will help you build the prototype and the sample. So again, we're not going to go into like a lot of the details, but you've got to determine the market fit. You've got to determine the customer, why they want it. You've got to build something, you've got to innovate. You can't completely just me too something. Like, I mean, I was looking at like pull-up bars the other day on Amazon. I was like, man, some of these pull-up bars just suck and it looks pretty wide open. So yeah, you can literally, the tip here is buy the products that are related to yours that you want to create, right? Take notes on what you like about them, what you dislike about them, and then literally make that your prototype. Just give that to your supplier or your sourcing partner. Say, I want the material from this one. I want the weight of the metal from this one. I want the fabric from that one. I want the color from this one. And innovate and maybe draw it out, get a designer to help you with that. Obviously, as you can see, an e-commerce business is not as straightforward as just starting some freelancing, right? But it's worth it because you can build an incredible asset. So big opportunity, start with the sourcing partner, do that. And then let's get into the tech. Shopify is definitely the best way to go, the easiest way to go, especially when you're starting. And I mean, there are businesses that generate tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, that are built on Shopify. You can't go wrong. And if it annoys you, if you're like an expert, or if you've really built your business like we have, and we're like, man, we wish there was more customization and functionality. A backend developer can do all sorts of custom stuff and go in and make tweaks for you that will really make a difference. So I wouldn't worry about that. And then as far as like how to learn this industry, Founder I mentioned before, and again, this is not like a sponsor. Obviously, I've worked with them. Nathan Chan, the CEO, is one of my very good friends. I just love these guys because they have so much integrity, and they're so legit, and their stuff is very high quality. There's just no BS. So they actually have a course that I've gone partly through on e-commerce by a friend of mine, Greta, and I think it's a great course. And if you're looking to learn e-commerce, that's one way to do it. But you could just, you could go to YouTube and the whole rest of the interwebs, and it has tons of stuff for you. Okay, so that's that. We're not talking about launching the business. We're not talking about any of that stuff. I'm like actually I'm really trying to hold myself back so this doesn't become a 7-hour episode from going into the details of it. I will say, I'll say it right now since it's coming to mind. If one of these businesses in particular is really standing out to you or you want more information on it, I mean, just let me know. Let me know, text me, whatever the best way, Instagram, direct message, DM me, because maybe I'll convert it into a full episode. Like maybe we'll just expand on that one business idea. Or maybe I'll turn it into a video, or I don't know, something like that. Because I want to make sure that you really feel like if what I'm talking about and the way I describe it is resonating with you, I want to make sure you have the information that you need to take action. But too much information can also be overwhelming, and you just don't want to get stuck studying this stuff. You want to get moving. So pick the business that most resonates with you, the thing that really inspires you and gets you excited, and follow that. Just follow your enthusiasm, okay? Brief side note. Now, Amazon is truly a beast of its own. It's bigger than ever. The opportunities are massive, but I will tell you very upfront and very clearly, Amazon is absolutely hell to deal with. It is hell. I have easily lost $150,000, $200,000 due to Amazon errors. They don't give a fuck. I didn't know that was going to come out, but it just came out because I've lost a lot of money and it's been super frustrating. And they don't care about the small businesses that sell on Amazon at all. In fact, I don't even know how much money you have to make. I believe you have to pay. I was talking to somebody about this. I think you have to pay like $25,000 a year to have your own sort of account manager rep. And even then, it's not worth it. And they really can't do shit for you when you run into problems. This was a friend of mine who also has a planner company that told me that. So that's the fair warning. It's not easy to deal with because if something happens, if you don't have the right sticker on your package, or I mean, seriously, anything can happen, or they slap you, you know, it's like a metaphorical slap. If you do something that they don't like, you'll lose everything. Like you can literally lose everything. So you can't really do any black hat stuff, as we call it. But there is one gray hat thing that you can do that I'm going to share. I don't know if I should, but it's like, whatever. I'm just going to share it because it's just something I've observed. But before I get to that, it's the same process, but in terms of finding the product. But the difference is with Amazon, there are tools out there that you can grab. I think one of them is called Lumen 5. And there's a bunch of different tools to do research on Amazon. You can literally see how much a product is generating in revenue right there. Like go type in mattress protectors and you can see all the mattress protectors and it'll show you how much revenue they're generating per month. This is where you are going to have to use your brain and do some research and think about which category you can break into and rank in to create revenue and take market share away from those other products. So you want to think about what is a product that is just maybe like one SKU, a simple product that I can break into the category that doesn't seem to be extremely competitive, that I can break into and take market share away from. Like, oh my God, look at this. These mattress protectors, like the top 3 are doing $1 million a month. By the way, those are real numbers. Like $1 million a month is not unheard of at all in many categories. So do that research. If Amazon's for you, here's the gray hat shit that I'm going to give you. There's essentially been this, and again, I have studied this stuff so much to determine, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? Should we take the risk? It's a risk balance equation that you're going to have to play in your own mind. But there's essentially this giveaway strategy that's been around for a long time. And you might wonder how so many products have a ridiculous number of reviews. Like you go and you see that you're searching like, I don't know, lemon juice squeezer. And the lemon juice squeezer, there's one that has like 14,000 reviews and all the other ones have like 100. There's something happening behind the scenes. They're giving their product away and some of them are asking explicitly, you're not supposed to, according to the Amazon terms and conditions as of now, you're not supposed to ever incentivize for a review or even really ask, as far as I know. Again, don't quote me on that. But you... especially you're not supposed to ask like, go give me 5 stars. But this is what people are doing. They're giving their product away. And the way that you can do that, here's the way that I think is the latest version of it that might work well. You essentially can, you can do it manually. You can like give it to people you know, but that isn't necessarily going to create enough velocity. You need to give a tremendous amount of product away. I would say a couple tens of thousands of dollars, maybe like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of product. But if you do, you can literally make that back. Again, this is just something that I know of people doing. It doesn't always work probably and all that stuff. I'm just giving you the shit. I'm just giving you the real stuff, the juice. You give away enough product to get enough reviews to then get enough Amazon SEO working in your favor to then pick up enough organic sales that makes up for the product that you gave away and some. Okay? So if you need to replay it, but that's basically the strategy. Some of you are like, yeah, I know. But here's the latest on that. A simple way that you can do this that's scalable is you drive a Facebook ad to the giveaway. You basically say, I'm giving this product away. You can use ManyChat's a tool, like a Facebook Messenger tool, to talk to that person with like a bot, essentially, and walk them through the instructions to go to Amazon, search for your product, right? And find your product listing, buy it, show you proof of purchase, and then you credit them back through PayPal, or I know some people use like gift cards. Here's a Visa gift card. And that's essentially the strategy. Wow, I just went deep into the juice there. Once you do that enough, you basically need to monitor to make sure, number one most important thing on Amazon, by the way, never run out of inventory. The ultimate slap, you will lose. You can lose everything if you run out of inventory. Amazon's algorithm will automatically be like, well, shit, you're not selling, we're not showing. We're not going to show your listing. So you don't want to run out of inventory. So if you need to scale that back and give away less, that's what you should do. So that was a little bit of a deep dive on Amazon, because I know that's a hot one for so many people. With that said, I think I deserve a little sip of this red wine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure do. Okay. This is fun. I hope you're enjoying this. I love this stuff. So number 4 is SaaS, software as a service. I am fortunate enough to have worked very closely and even been mentored by certain people that are SaaS geniuses. I've worked very closely and partnered with Neil Patel, like I've mentioned, on certain businesses and projects. And I've also recently been in a group called the SaaS Academy by Dan Martell, who will also be on the show, who is a SaaS genius. In fact, he built the company Clarity.fm I believe he was acquired for $25 million. I think he's been acquired 2 or 3 times. He's had 2 or 3 exits, a couple failed ones and a few that were successful. Brilliant, brilliant guy. We paid a lot of money, more than 5 figures a month, to be in his group coaching called the SaaS Academy. So while I haven't built a traditional SaaS business, I was still in it. Even though, my company, Project Evo, we did it mostly because we loved Dan and there is the subscription component to the business. So it made sense. But here's the deal with SaaS. I'm going to keep this one simple. There's a ton of information on it that you can, I love Neil's stuff on it. So Neil Patel, listen to Neil, listen to Dan. Just those 2 people, I think you'll be pretty good to go. The cool thing about SaaS is it's extremely high on the profit, but it does cost a chunk of change to build up front. The way that I have heard people do this, and I will shout out some friends of mine that built a company called The Foundation that is also a good resource for learning how to build a software business. Basically, what you want to do is you want to go, this is a really cool strategy. It utilizes what's called the minimum viable business or the minimum viable product, MVP approach. You essentially want to build the business in the most efficient way possible. Find the niche that you can serve. Basically, you want to find something, an underserved market, but also a problem. Perhaps it's a problem you're having with a piece of software, or you're like, man, if I could just connect this software with this software, or if I could get my current software to do this one thing, that would be amazing. Like if I was on YouTube and I could get these analytics for this YouTube video shown to me in this exact way, how cool would that be? And whoa, I bet there are so many people that want the same thing. That's like kind of how it starts, right? So then what you can do is you can go to the people that actually would want that and say, hey, give me $1,000 down payment right now or whatever. I'm throwing random numbers to go build this thing. And then I'll give you access to the beta, and maybe I'll give you like a lifetime membership for free. I'm basically just looking to get this built because I think it's something that the world really needs. And you find those early evangelists to pay you up front for the software. You use that money to go build it, and then you scale up step by step by step. A word of caution when building software or an app. It gets really expensive if you hire a development team or an agency or even a freelancer. Now we're back at freelancing. Number 1, this is how those developers make all that money is when we need to go hire them to build something like a piece of software. Okay. So it gets expensive. Show exactly the scope of what you want to build as clearly as you can up front. That is the most important thing when building a piece of software. You've got to get the scope of that project so tight and dialed in before you go and develop, because even then it's going to change, but at least you have prevented a lot of that scope creep that can happen. And what ends up happening is you end up spending way more money than you ever needed to. So what you want to do is get the scope really clear and get the consultant or the freelancer or the agency to commit to a project rate. They might not, and they might, but you can try because it protects everybody. And it's not good for the freelancer or the consultant or the developer because they're like, well, dude, if you end up wanting a bunch of changes, that's not going to work for me, because it's, that's what we call scope creep. It went way beyond what we agreed to. So anyway, that's just a word of caution. However, with all of that said, Neil's been talking a lot about Code Canyon as a resource. You can literally go and buy the code for many of the types of software that you want to build. And then maybe if you want some customizations, have the developer tweak it based on that. But Code Canyon is apparently a very good resource. I would check them out. They're right at the top of Google when you search for it. If you search for I want to buy code, create software, anything like that. So I think that's definitely what I would do, and that's definitely what Neil said he would do. Right now, he has a software called Uber Suggest. He's had many software companies: HelloBar, Kissmetrics. There's so many others, and that's that Uber Suggest one that he currently has on neilpatel.com. He was like, I could have built this on Code Canyon. I could have bought this essentially from Code Canyon and saved 6 figures. So that's what you should do there. And then once you build that SaaS product, definitely keep eyes on Dan. And maybe you'll build your product up enough to join his SaaS Academy. But the key thing there is you're building a business of recurring revenue. You're building a subscription business. That's the best thing about software, is that subscription money, baby. So there's nothing better than that. The multiple on those companies, 7-8 times EBITDA, or certain multiples of revenue, is not unheard of at all, because these businesses last a long time and they're highly valued, and subscription is highly valued, and it increases your multiple big time. That's number 4. Number 5, our last one, besides our little bonus one that I'll mention, is blogging, vlogging, which is video blogging, content sites, and podcasting. Here's the thing about content. It's very difficult sometimes to categorize it as a business, but it truly can be. It takes time. It's not as expensive as some of these other ones. It's slower, though, to really get going, because you are essentially, most people that start a blog or a vlog or any of these things, or a podcast, do it and try to build their reach and engagement and listeners and downloads and views and reads and all that stuff organically. And the organic marketing game, the content marketing game, we'll call it, is endless. And there's so many strategies that you could take to grow and expand that company, but it's a slow process unless something crazy happens and you get lucky overnight, but that's not what you want to count on. We're looking at it like a business. So I still, though, do recommend this business, because it's the beautiful thing about building a blog or a vlog or a podcast is that you're building a brand. And that is something, you're also building a personal brand if your face or name is on it at all. And that's one of the best assets that a person can ever own. So the way you really make money is often indirect. So let's just talk about the one that I think is most exciting, which is vlogging, or really creating video content. And there's an example of someone, I just recently got a puppy. So I went to YouTube looking for puppy stuff. And this guy, Zach George, just kept popping up. He kept popping up. And so I was like, all right, let me listen to this guy. Let me see. I mean, his YouTube SEO was unbelievable. Like everything I searched for puppy, he was there. And his stuff is great. And he's super enthusiastic. And so he does, I mean, think about it. He's making money from the YouTube views, okay? Because if you look back at his old videos, he didn't have crazy views. and his video production was shit. And he started slow, just like everybody, but he took something that he was passionate about, which was dog training, and he developed expertise, and then he taught people how to do it. And that's valuable. And over time, he invested more into production, and over time, he got more views, and so on and so forth. And now he's like the top dog guy on YouTube. So he has sponsors now. He mentions those sponsors on the show, on the videos every time. I mean, man, these videos are getting 1 million views a pop every video he releases. I can't even imagine. He's getting, definitely, if we look at it from a CPM perspective of what podcasts get, he's getting a significant amount of money for every time he mentions one of these sponsors. So that's one way he sells his books. So essentially, it's a marketing channel to then indirectly sell. I think what's best is your own products and services. So let's just say you were freelancing, number 1, or you had a course, number 2, or you were e-commerce, number 3, or you had a SaaS, number 4. All those things can be sold through that content, right? If you have a podcast, you can mention, just like I do, right? I mention my course with Founder. That's what you do. You indirectly are mentioning your own products and services, or you look for sponsorships and things like that. And essentially, you're adding value. You're doing something that you love to create content for people that helps them. And then, there's just this subtle message of like, check this out, check that out. And it leads to incredible opportunities. Like I said, also for the personal brand stuff, like if you just want to do, if we just look at, vlogging specifically, if you just want to do these videos, the partnership deals and brand deals that you can get are tremendous. And sometimes those things don't measure directly as money, like cash in the pocket, but free hotel stays and airfare, I mean, that's still money, right? It's just a different form of it. So really, really cool opportunities in that space. When it comes to blogging, the blogging world has changed a lot. Like I started in like the OG blogging era where everybody was blogging and it was what you were supposed to do. And it was hard. It was hard. But like another way that you can make money through that business is affiliate marketing, affiliate products. So you build up enough readership, you build an email list. Now I'm building a text message list. This is like the new thing that I've been doubling down on. Every time I'm saying like, text me, that's because it's a new path to engaging with people. And it's an asset. When you own that email list or you own that text list, you're owning an asset. It's a more direct way of communicating with people. It's just another channel to connect with them and give them valuable insights and content. And then every once in a while, your book comes out or your whatever, you launch this course and you mention it. And they're like, yeah, I love you. Like, I would love to support you, Cheryl. Cheryl, that's for you out there who's listening. So, there's a lot of paths. It's more indirect. Some of it is direct. Like if you have the blog, you can put ads up. You can do ad arbitrage stuff. If you're looking into ads, you can look that up. But like the arbitrage model is really interesting for building content sites. I have like 3 or 4 friends that do that insanely well and make a tremendous amount of money. So there's a lot of different vehicles within the content world. But the one that I would say I'm most excited about for people in general would be the video stuff and podcasting. And if you can combine the video and the podcasting, meaning you have a video podcast, even better. But it depends on who you are, what you're interested in, what you want to teach, or what you want to share. And that is really what determines which type of content business to build. Speaking of determining what kind of person you are and what you're interested in, you may know of a concept called brain type. Brain type is something that my company and I, Project Evo, developed a few years ago. You can go to projectevo.org. Actually, I'll give you a direct link. The easiest way to get to it is armanassadi.com/BTA, and that'll redirect you directly to the BTA, the brain type assessment. So again, that's armanassadi.com/BTA. And you can take our brain type quiz. and it's free. You get a free report, and it explains to you how you uniquely process and organize information. What is your approach to the world? How can you be more focused? How can you get less distracted? How can you be more productive? And what kind of person are you? What kind of stuff are you really into? And what's your sweet spot? If you want to take it even further, you can take our elements assessment that goes way deeper into your personality. That's our personality assessment that we developed. That's like 5 years in the making, because a big part of what kind of business to build, what industry to be in, is who you are. You want that shit to light you up. You want to be able to jump out of bed every single morning and get after it. You don't want to go build a SaaS business just because I said subscription and an 8x multiple. That's stupid. Don't do that. It's got to work for you so that you can actually get after it in the long run. Because again, remember, one of the 5 rules, we're not looking for a quick win. We're not looking for getting rich quickly. We're looking for something sustainable that makes money over and over and over again, consistently and reliably. And that needs to work with your true nature. So the free quiz is a great place to start. The elements assessment is also incredible. I mean, I know that because I've built it for 5 years. It's changed so many lives, and I wouldn't know who I really am. In fact, I don't think I would have started this podcast had I not taken my own assessment to uncover my crafts, right? Because that's another thing that you get when you take the elements assessment is your crafts. Like, who are you really and what are you good at? And that's where the crafts part comes in. It's the 3 top roles that you play in life. And so what I found is, number 1, sage. That is a type of teacher, the type of teacher that wants to teach the masses, right? Not necessarily someone that wants to sit and mentor you and hold your hand. No offense. I do like that too, just not as much as the sage type of teaching, which just really wants to put the message out to the masses, to the millions. And then I found, wow, star? I didn't know I was a star. That was also in my top 3. I was like, oh, okay, I really need to put myself out there. So anyway, and then weaver, which is all about connecting with people and building relationships and making introductions between unique people. So this allows me to do that too, talking to my guests and connecting and networking. So anyway, I literally wouldn't be here if I hadn't taken my own assessment and put language to this elusive thing of who I am. So as you can see, that's not even like a plug. It's just like a necessary thing. Like whether you take my assessment or not, I don't give a shit. I just want you to not go down a path that you regret or that makes you tired and exhausted and isn't for you, or that you end up doing something that's a lie to yourself, because this is all about being authentic and finding flow. And the reason I recorded this episode is because building a business and creating a different career is a path toward finding flow. If you choose the right thing and you do it and you wholeheartedly put your all into it, talk about the ultimate flow experience. Our work is often the biggest opportunity for that. So I'm going to wrap it up with bonus number, which is coaching and consulting, and I'll be brief on this one. A lot of people talk about the coaching consulting thing. All I have to say about that is make sure that you're not coaching just because some other coach out there told you to coach. Make sure you're coaching because that's something you truly are passionate about doing. And if I were you, I would pick a specific area of expertise. I would not be like some sort of life coach. I would pick something specifically, because then the marketing around it and the word of mouth around it can be much more clear. If people are confused about what you do, then it will never spread. And if they can't explain it clearly enough, they're not going to be able to tell their friend about you. That's what you want. You want to be a specific type of coach. You want to be the entrepreneur, finance, bookkeeping coach. You want to be like, if you maybe have an accounting background, you use that. You want to get really specific. You want to be the CTO coach because you've been a technology director at your company, or you want to be the anxiety coach because you've had anxiety or you've studied it deeply or you're studying it deeply and maybe becoming a therapist or whatever it might be. And if you can actually go out and develop any form of credibility, that's going to serve you so much more. Not necessarily like a coaching license, anything like that, just real credibility, like street cred. Don't be that person that's like 23, that's helping the 45-year-old or telling the 45-year-old what to do with their life. It's a little irresponsible. Let's just put it that way. Because at 23, I also thought that I knew what I was talking about. I think every 23-year-old does, every young person does. But and what happens is actually, like what I found, people did come to me and want advice, and I had to be careful because I'm like, I'm young, at that time I was young. And so I don't have the life experience that you have. And often experience is the best teacher. So coaching is fantastic. Consulting is even better because you can be really specific. Like, I'm a copywriting consultant, or I'm a digital marketing strategist. And then you can come in and really just be focused on like results. I'm here to get you results. And if you can do that, and you can grab a few case studies and testimonials and get people speaking about you and put it on your Instagram or wherever, you can build an amazing business. And the way I think about coaching and consulting, it's almost like a step up from freelancing, right? Because you're charging more of a premium, most of the time with coaching and consulting. And you really want your work to do the work for you. You want your work to be the marketing. So what I would do if I was starting today in freelancing or coaching or consulting is I would have content. I would show my work. I would tell the story of the results I'm getting for people. I would get those stories from my clients. And then I'd have, like, depending on the market that I'm serving, it really is important. Like, where is your customer? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on YouTube? Are they on Instagram? I mean, the attention is definitely on Instagram right now. But if it's a younger audience, are they on TikTok? Wherever they are, and then build content there. Really double down and show your work. Show what you're doing and talk about the results you're getting people. And then if you want to be proactive in your marketing, just literally go into Instagram or Twitter or wherever it is and search for that hashtag or that phrase, right? Like, if you are a consultant to e-commerce stores, because you just, whatever it is, you can search for like e-commerce and then go and message every single e-commerce business owner after you've looked at their e-commerce store and tell them what's missing and be like, I can help you. Let's jump on a 15-minute demo, free consulting session. I'll give you my 5 things that I think you should do to your e-commerce store to increase your conversions for free. You're going to get a very high conversion rate on that offer. So that's what I would do for the last bonus item. So I think, wow, I went ham, huh? I went deep into this. I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed that. I truly enjoyed doing that. There's a lot of stuff in this brain of mine that I need to just get out. And I think this podcast is the perfect place for that. So hopefully you found that helpful. Let me know if you did. Just text me directly, 619-825-2595. I would love to meet you, get to know you if you haven't texted me yet, and hear your feedback. A couple resources I mentioned, I'll just repeat. My copywriting masterclass, just text me #7FC, and I'll give you the link to that. It'll automatically send it to you, actually. And I mentioned my brain type quiz. That's at armanassadi.com/BTA. And please do me a favor, a real quick one. If you enjoyed this episode, please go to the Apple Podcast app on your computer or on the phone and go to Find Your Flow and leave a review. It would mean the world to me. I can't wait to read your thoughts. Subscribe to the show and leave a review. Thank you so much. Much love to you. Take care of yourself wherever you are. If you start this business, I'm here for you. If you don't and you are like, that was hilarious, that's fine too. But whether it's your first business or your 7th, just know that I'm here for you, and we will find our flow together. Until next time, take care.